Hello guys, welcome back to Comic Book Cafe, and this time we're reviewing Justice League of America Volume 4, Issue Number 1. Written by Bryan Hitch, art by Bryan Hitch, and Wade von Grogbadger. I know I'm probably pronouncing the last part wrong. I suck. But anyway, so this was a rather interesting book. I was wondering how they're going to take it. Were they going to go like reboot Justice League of America from the beginning, or we're going to just start off and run with characters you know? Well, in this case, they actually went with characters you know, but with kind of a mystery. You start with the book seeing Superman, and you see him see all this stuff getting destroyed, and you don't know who did it, and it's kind of like, okay, what just happened? And then you see Superman today, and it starts off, you just don't know what's going on. Like, okay, you saw what happened, and then you see Superman, like, well, Clark Kent getting invited to the Infinity Corporation's headquarters, which no one's ever heard of before. They get there, and he gets there Superman because he could see in the card that it's actually a message for Superman, which he thought was clever. He shows up talking to the lady about how he has a thin patience because he doesn't trust him. And so he meets the other guy, and while he's there going to meet the other guy, all of a sudden another Superman shows up and he dies. And there's just a room full of piles of dead Supermen. Like, Superman, in different timelines, he tells them that the stones are the ones that have fixated on this point. The stones tells them the future, and that Superman's going to die, and that he needs, in order for the world to be saved, he needs to stop being selflessness and save everybody, and just stay home, don't worry about people for a little bit, until, this point in time blows over. And he's like, I can't do that. So at this point, you don't know whether the stones in these people, if any, are good or bad. You're like, well, are they good? Are they bad? And then we see Green Lantern, and you see Wonder Woman, and, the Flash. They all having to get invited for the same corporation on this one location. And Batman shows up, and they're all sitting there talking about it. And Batman sees a container out of the ordinary, and as he says, out of ordinary, Parasite breaks out a container. Of course, Parasite basically feeds on more energy, feeds on the bigger he gets, and so of course he feeds on Green Lantern right away, and basically almost sucks his ring dry. And then the Flash, because of course Flash has the speed. Wonder Woman tries her lasso, really not to any effect. And he's getting bigger and bigger, and Batman tries to, of course, stop him. And he's beating all of them. And just when you think he beats them all, Cyborg shows up. And so you have all the Justice League basically showing up at this point. You wondered how they'd play this, because you're like, is this just going to be the first issue about Superman? And then you see the rest of the League show up. And, of course, Superman goes out and asks what happened, and they tell him. And he's not sure what to think about anything. He goes, no, I went here to this building, and the building doesn't exist. Like, it must have been a very, they think it's like one big hoax, like one big, like, mirage, to really big, elaborate thing, right? You see another guy involved with this situation, but again, for Infinity Corp, but you don't know what they are or what they're doing. You just know that there's somebody from about time, but you're not sure where they're playing the whole thing. And they're all sitting there, at the very end, and then this guy shows up with this guy, and he goes, I can't believe it's him. I thought he was just a myth. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, the great god of Rao, R-A-O, Rao. And that's where they leave it at. Again, a nice book. To me, it was very interesting to go with the mystery aspect in this book. That you're reading it, and you really at no point you don't understand whether, the Infinity Corp was good or bad, which is not a bad thing. You kind of go back and forth as you read the book, and then you're wondering, what's the payoff here? Oh, where's the rest of Justice League? And then they all show up, and Parasite shows up, which is always good to see a Marvel villain, or Marvel, DC villain. I don't know why I say Marvel. It's because I read Marvel book before I read this one. But a DC, villain show up like Parasite, which at times has been underused. And they did beat him, of course. And and then to see this new guy you don't know of, and you don't know, is this guy good or is he bad? How's this going to play out? They did say, again, Hitch did say that, there will be some DC villains, but he wants to create a lot of villains, new villains for this, which cannot be a bad thing. I think, Justice League could use some new villains, right? DC can always use more villains. We know certain villains. And Ryo, is he going to be a villain or a good guy? We'll just have to wait to see. I mean, for Superman, there just isn't many equals to him in the DC universe. So you have to find equals, and maybe this guy is his equal in a sense for fighting. But it was a nice first issue. Of course, it had, there's several different covers of this issue, depending on which one, hero of the Justice League you like, you're more likely to get that, obviously, that cover. But if you're wondering, well, if this is same old, it's actually a good start. It made me interested. I can't wait to read the second issue and see where they go with this. And so, what did you guys think if you read Justice League 1, Volume 4? Did you like the new issue? Did you like the new kind of direction they went with this first issue than they normally do with a guy you never heard of before? Or are you just like, I read it, I liked it? Or are you like, I didn't care, it's just another Justice League book? Anyway, guys, I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. Like always, again, this is a really good read if you're looking to jump into a series. Again, there are a lot of number ones from DC this week. But if you're looking for, to jump into Justice League you never have in the past, this is definitely a good start, getting into the first story arc and getting to see how they're going to, the dynamic of these new characters going forward in the team and in the DC universe. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching like always, and I'll make another comic book video soon. Later!